Afcon 23 qualifiers. Update. Andre Onana confirms he has come out of international retirement to rejoin Cameroon's squad for their upcoming Africa Cup of Nations qualifier against Burundi.
Cameroon have a very, very important winner-takes-all African Cup of Nations qualifier on September the 12th against Burundi. And he has been picked for the squad, and he has said that, yes, I'm coming back to play in this game. Now, if he plays in that game and they win and they get through to the African Cup of Nations, there is the real possibility that he's going to miss 6 United games in January and February next year. Now, those games would be potentially against Spurs, Wolves, West Ham and Aston Villa in the Premier League, and also 2 rounds of the FA Cup. Also, Sofiane Amrabat would be missing as well because Morocco have already qualified for the African Cup of Nations.
Now, Carve, when the Africa Cup of Nations comes around, people start moaning about players not playing for their clubs. Is that happening again with these two?
Well, you are starting to feel that. And also, speaking to some African players, they sometimes feel like they're under pressure from their clubs and their managers not to play in the African Cup of Nations. Now, I'm not saying this is what is happening in this occasion with Manchester United, but it has happened with players at other clubs in the past. And my personal opinion, and I think you'd agree with me, is that this is totally wrong. When clubs buy African players, surely they know they are African, and they know that the African Cup of Nations comes along every couple of years in January and February. Now,
and they buy them because they're international footballers.
Exactly, because they're very, very good players. Now, I keep hearing people say, why is this tournament being held in January and February? Why don't they align it to the Western European calendar and South America's calendar and have it in the summer? Well, 2 reasons for that. First of all, the African Cup of Nations started before the Euros. So this is a tournament that predates the Euros. So I don't think anyone in Europe has any right to tell African countries when they should have their Cup of Nations tournament. The second point, which was made by Martin Samuel in his column in the Sunday Times yesterday, a brilliant column, he made the point that for parts of Africa, the summer is when torrential rain arrives. So that is one of the reasons they don't have it in the summer.